Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning meditation. I invite you to get comfortable in your chair and just begin by breathing in deeply, just taking in as much air as you can. And continue to do this, just breathing in deep and releasing. Letting go of anything that happened before you got here this morning. If you thought you were late and it hadn't started, just let that go. Find comfort and ease right where you are, right in the place and the space that you're sitting. Knowing that each breath is a gift, that each breath is sacred, that the space that you're in right now is sacred space. So I invite you to breathe in, knowing that there's only one power, one presence, and we are it. And today we're here to celebrate that divinity that is within. As Ricky Byers-Beckwith says, when there was no time, and before there was a number, spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And we are that ecstasy. So I invite you to let that feeling into your mind, into your body, to feel the joy and delight of being an infinite and eternal spiritual being, having a very real human experience, but experiencing this consciously, knowing that we're always connected to this one power, to this one source, to this infinite creative potential, and it is what we are. Wherever we are, we can never be separated from this. And the first two parts of spiritual mind treatment are the recognition of spirit, God, cosmic force, and the unification. And so in this meditation, I invite you to unify with that power within you that knows and knows that it knows that we're always connected, that we're always at choice. As we breathe in, as we consciously move through our day, connecting in relationship, seeing the bounty that is God everywhere, in everything, all the time, and letting ourselves feel the wonderment of that, the power in that, the pure joy and delight in knowing that spirit is what we are, that we are made manifest in this likeness and image, that we were there since the beginning and before the beginning of time. It's hard to fathom or grasp infinite, but we are the expansiveness that is spirit. We are the eyes and the ears and the mouth and the touch. We are everything. We are spirit made manifest in this life right here and right now. And it is beautiful. And it is something to celebrate. There's nothing that we have to be, do, seek, or find. We're already it. So let's just sink into that and let our bodies feel the joy of knowing this. All 70 trillion cells know that they are this infinite presence. Know that they are the creative power. Know that they are spirit in form. And the Sanskrit saying, Om Sat Tat, is the acknowledgement of absolute reality, of connection, of that I am that I am. And so today, I invite you to speak these words as I say them. I am beauty. I am. I am joy. I am. I am peace. I am. I am power. I am. I am wisdom. I am. I am love. I am. I am prosperity and abundance. I am. I am wholeness and health. I am. These are the most powerful words, that declaration of I am principle, of knowing the infinite, cosmic energy and force is what we are, and we are the expansive nature of it. Every time we choose to come into conscious contact with that which is within, we know the power of our being. We sense this. We're alive with this. And I invite you just to feel this, to just let go of anything else, to let go of any coulda, shoulda, wouldas, any mistakes that we've made, any ideas of less than, and just right now, for this time, stand in the knowingness of yourself as that infinite, divine, creative force and power, the magnificence that is God, that is on purpose, that's made manifest now, that can only show up through each and every one of us. We are the beauty that is God. We are the power and the joy, no matter what size or shape or color or gender. It is all God unfolding, and it is all good. It is creative expression and freedom to be experienced, to be enjoyed, to just marvel with and at. It is the beauty of what we are. Breathing this in, just sensing the goodness, being grateful for today, for this time to spend in meditation, for this time to come together, knowing the power that is within us, knowing the power that exists whenever two or more are gathered and choose to come together. There is power in that. There is light and love in that. There is life in that. We are that. Taking this all in, feeling abundantly grateful, surrendering into the goodness that is God, knowing that as we sow, so do we reap. Knowing that our bodies, science really tells us that our bodies work when we're at this higher vibration of love and light and beauty and joy. That our bodies sense it and feel it, that our neurons fire on it, and it is that creative power. It is what we truly are. Regardless of any experiences, we choose to remember this. We choose to see the joy that we are. We choose to see the light that we are. And in seeing it in ourselves, we see it in others. We experience it with a smile. We experience it with a look. We experience it through kindness and generosity. We are that. Knowing and recognizing that we are on purpose. That today we celebrate the God that is within each one of us. And even though we are physically distanced, we are so socially connected. We give virtual hugs and namastes to know that we meet and greet the divine in each other at all times. Even when we misstep or make a mistake or someone else does, it's still God in form, God in us, as us, by us, for us, with us. There is nothing else. So as we bring this meditation to close, I invite you just to breathe deeply and know that you're loved unconditionally, that which is spirit is what we are, and its love is unconditional and everlasting, eternal. We are the ones we've been looking for, and it's so good. We end this meditation bringing ourselves back into the room, feeling our bodies, releasing, letting go, surrendering, trusting. All is well, and so it is.
And thank you, Sue, for that beautiful meditation. And I'm going to continue with the meditative piece that I've been playing in response to that. And give me just a second to begin. And blessings for the day. Namaste, and thank you, everyone.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. My name is Tracy Rhymes. I will be your host for today. Our awesome senior minister, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, will deliver today's message. Sue Monahan, one of the hardest working women in CSL, who led that awesome pre-service meditation, is our practitioner on duty. Now, Sue will give us our opening invocation.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. I know we're having technical difficulties, but I'm grateful that you can make it today. And so know with me now that there is only one power. Whatever name we give it, we cannot encompass the infinite presence that is God, that is in, as, and through us because it is us. There is nothing else. And so together we come together today to know and recognize the divine in each one of us, to know that there's a power in that. And that feels good to be in this platform and to share this space. So I give gratitude and thanks for our senior minister, Reverend Raymont Anderson, for our administrator, Tracy Rhymes, for our interpreters, for our administrators on the Zoom conference. I'm grateful today that we've all come together to be in this place and space. It is all good, releasing and letting go. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sue. Okay, right now we're going to honor the world's religions. One tree, many branches. One mountain, many paths. One world, many religions and spiritual traditions. With the lighting of the candles on the first Sunday of each month, we not only honor each person on their select path, but we also bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, and in each person. As we join again virtually, while many cities and states begin the conversations and processes of reopening, we continue to practice what is personally and collectively health conscious to further flatten the curve. We celebrate and honor the opportunity to engage socially amid being physically distant. We celebrate and honor this opportunity to stand together as a beloved global spiritual community using technology to keep us connected and spiritually nourished as we cleanse our minds and hearts in order to do what is ours to do, to demonstrate a world that works for all. May is Asian Pacific Heritage Month. Visit their website, ASIAN pacificheritage.gov, for more information. Power of Your Word is an 8-week course that will be taught by Dr. Ronnie Ellington. This class will be held on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Class registration has been extended. Class has not yet started, and as we await more registrations. The financial investment for this class is $255. You can contact Sue Monahan to register. And if you would like more information about the course, you can contact Dr. Ronnie Ellington or visit cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Next week, Sunday, May 24th, following the CSLGB service, Reverend Dr. Ray will be guest speaker at Unity of Bellevue. And that's in Bellevue, Washington. This will happen via Zoom. You are invited to attend. The service times are 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are interested in attending, you contact me, and I'll give you the Zoom information. Prayer works. You can say it with me. Prayer works. We as a community continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. The CSLGB practitioners are available if you want specific prayer, and that is prayer for yourself, prayer for your family, or prayer for another. They are available. Prayer is available today after service. And you can send prayer requests at any time to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org. Our guest musician today is Robert Hicks. Robert Hicks is classically trained. His music touches the soul and creates the broad spectrum of emotions which fill our hearts with joy, love, and life. It takes one to a deeper understanding of our relationship to the magnificent creative source behind all creations. That's just a snippet of Robert's bio. Do visit his website at roberthitz.com to learn more about the amazing things he has done and is doing. I give you Robert Hicks.
Then I thank you so much for this, and I'm going to be asking us for patience and peace and trust during this time. And I'm going to dedicate this to our Native American brothers and sisters. Namaste, and thank you, everyone, and blessings to all beings.
Thank you, Robert, for that beautiful selection. Okay, so now Sue Monahan will lead us in meditation to assist with preparing for another powerful homework-filled message we are about to receive from Reverend Dr. Ray.
I want to read from the Science of Mind Daily Guides for the month of May, are written by Reverend Dr. David Alt, and this one in particular stood out to me from May 15th. The first quote is by Nelson Mandela. I never lose. I either win or learn. This quote is from Ernest Holmes' Think Your Troubles Away. In the last analysis, one must convince themselves that they are in league with the only power there is. David writes, you win some, you learn some, you grow some, but you do not lose some. This wisdom is shared by many teachers. It corrects the assumption of the adage that there is only winning and losing. It suggests that behind the illusion of losing is simply redirection. Life is perpetually giving in nature, and the intelligence within all of life reroutes us in seemingly unplanned ways. Ernest Holmes says, whatever I should know, I will know. Whatever I should do, I will do. Whatever belongs to me must come to me. And because of this infinite intelligence that is mine and that is within me now, I am compelled to recognize my God, to see more, to understand, and accept and express more. This is the ultimate life insurance policy. How calming to regularly return to the truth that we are winning, learning, and growing into a fuller state of being. How would accepting this life insurance affect the quality of our existence? Perhaps for starters, we would see that the person we long to be, we already are. The person we long to be already exists. Free from the fear of losing and failure, we could boldly step forward, moving through the jagged rocks of mystery, through the pathway lined with those who may hurl stones at our daring. We could accelerate reclaiming more of our infinite potential and spend less energy on doubting ourselves. By claiming the Holmes words that whatever belongs to each of us must come to us, we dissolve the weight of doubt and ease the burden of fear. The affirmation for this day, I will repeat 3 times, then we'll have just a brief moment of silence and I'll go into a spiritual mind treatment. I am fully insured in this thing called life. My benefit is love. I am fully insured in this thing called life. My benefit is love. I am fully insured in this thing called life. My benefit is love. Knowing that that which God is, I am, we are. We are these infinite creative beings. We are here to make manifest the glory that is God on earth, and that feels good. We can surrender and trust to the divine magnificence that our soul knows, and we know that it knows. We let go of anything that stands in the way. We let go of any past, And we know that we're not bound by this, that at any moment in time, we're at choice. And we choose to know the truth. We choose to remember who we are. We choose to forgive ourselves and let go. We choose love. We choose that which is our highest and best. And we know that that's what comes to us and through us. We give gratitude and thanks for this day. We give gratitude and thanks for nature, unfolding now as spring, showing its magnificence, reminding us of the truth that everything is God-informed. We are God-informed. It is all good. So I trust this. I surrender it into the law that knows that the highest and best good is happening for us, each one of us, right here and right now. It is so good, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sue, for the reading and for the meditation. Now it is time to hear from our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. Prepare yourselves to get some love, feel a tug at your heart, be taught, pushed, and challenged as Reverend Dr. Ray delivers another powerful homework-filled message. Reverend Dr. Ray, the floor is yours.
Gracias. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, so let's take a breath and center ourselves, just ground. Breathe. So ground ourselves and just anchor in, recognizing that sometimes there are speed bumps in the road. It's our invitation to slow down, take a pause, let go of the need to control, and breathe. And we're breathing not just because of that, but we're also breathing because this idea of what we're going into is something that can be rather challenging to folks. So today we're going to talk about this idea of the great work of your life. And I can already hear some of y'all saying, but what does that mean? Let's just breathe. People, breathe. So many of us have heard the phrase, raison d'être, one's reason for being. The most important reason or purpose for someone or something's existence. And from Buddhism, we've heard the word Dharma, which has various meanings, but which refers to one's purpose. We often talk about following or living our dreams. And yet, so few of us ever really take the steps to really go there, into the dream, to take the leap, to live from this level of alignment. But the question is, are you ready to? Are you ready to explore the untapped reserves of genius that you already have right here and right now? That's the thing. Yes, you are a genius, and more. But we'll get there for a minute. Hold on a second. So the question is, are you ready to live that truth? Are you ready to live that truth that says you recognize this thing called genius? Now as we pause and think for a second, if I were to ask you, and feel free to type into the chat, if I were to ask you, what does being a genius mean to you? And not just the Webster Dictionary definition of genius, so don't go searching and cutting and pasting. I'm talking about, in your own words, what does it mean to be a genius? Several years ago, while I was a public school teacher, I don't remember where I came across this, but I came across this graphic which was describing the traditional public school version of education, where there's this guy, which some of you can't see it, but if you go on Facebook or you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the graphic where it says, this guy is asking a series of animals, for fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. So as you see, there's a monkey, there's a bird, there's a pigeon, there's a penguin, an elephant, a fish in a bowl, a seal, and I guess that's a goat, might be a dog, I don't know, but there are these various animals being asked, being evaluated on their ability to climb a tree. So if we're going to say that genius is based on some kind of standard that someone else established, it's no wonder that we don't know that we're already a genius. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Albert Einstein. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge me based upon my ability to play the piano like Robert Hicks, then I am clearly going to see myself as being incompetent or inept. Everyone is a genius, but if we judge ourselves by the ability of Nelson Mandela, John F. Kennedy, Albert Einstein, if we are judging ourselves based upon what we perceive genius to be based on them, then we are going to fall short. So get me here, because the challenge isn't to judge ourselves based upon a preset form or preset exam, preset standard. What we're talking about is this idea of God is all there is. Okay, gotcha. And if God is all there is, then it means it's exactly what we are. The universe itself showing up in human form. Then that means the very genius of creation itself is showing up in this form. Yes. And yet, we still don't do the work. You listen to your heart, but do you follow it? So we already know the theme for the month is listen to your heart. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about listen to your heart. Mother knows best, like listen to your intuition. Listen to it. Listen, listen. Listen, Linda, listen. And we hear it. We hear the heart. We hear the intuition. Write that book. We hear the intuition. Sing that song. We hear the intuition. Take that class. We hear the intuition. But how many of us are willing to act upon? Because what we tend to do is downplay the intuition as if it's a little faint whisper. Remember last week we talked about that still small voice? You see, the reason we talk about the still small voice is because we like the ability to deny that it's a loud, booming voice that is calling itself into greater levels of existence. For as long as we say it is small, then it's easier to deny it. See, if I right now whisper, "You are amazing and great," which I'm going to do. See, because I'm whispering it, you can't hear me, so it's easy for you to read my lips and assume that I might be saying something else. But if I say it outwardly, you right now are amazing and awesome and beautiful. It's a little bit more difficult to deny having heard what you heard. And once we know, we can't unknow. So what do we do when we're asked to not just listen to the heart, but to follow it? Well, we're being asked, living as a genius consciously requires following, not just listening, and recognizing that this thing that we're calling genius is God expressing now, individualizing uniquely and spectacularly, right here and right now, in, through, and as every single one of us. If we can acknowledge that that is true of and for and about us, are we ready to take the steps to demonstrate the knowing of this as our reality? Ernest Holmes says in the book Love and Law, that spirit is in everything, every living thing, everything. It is in every soul, latent, simply waiting to be brought forth. and come through the avenue we express. It is to bring out these great realities of life and happiness, health, love, and power, to supply these things that make life worthwhile. That spirit, God, love, magnificence itself, the universe, is in every, and when we say every living thing, because we don't think of rocks as living, but the atoms, molecules, they are moving, they are vibrating. So we cannot stop, it's time for us to stop thinking about life meaning this thing. Because see, that's why we get into this thing, there's life and death, and there's this and there's that. Not recognizing that that which God is the very movement of all of creation. So this spirit that is in everything is in and as every soul, even the soul of the blade of grass, the soul of the tree. It is the essence of what it is. So we're not talking about a specifically human soul. We're talking about the soul of life itself, the essence of love itself, expressing in. And it is waiting to be brought forth, to be expressed, to be demonstrated, to show up in, through, and as us. See, for those of you who on Facebook, you missed Robert's first song, but you heard the second, or piece of music, you heard the second piece of music. Until Robert sits down to place his magical fingers on the little ivory keys, the music is always in him, latent and ready and waiting to be expressed, which is why he can do so magnificently. I don't know if Aaron is still on here, but Aaron is the same, it's the same thing. The music is there, it's there. But until it's played, it's not expressed. It's not demonstrated. And all of us, right here and right now, have that genius, that God force, that essence of life itself, ready and waiting to be expressed, that the great realities of life and happiness, health, love, and power, all of these things flow forth and make life worthwhile. And yet here we go right back to the same old thing again. We gotta be willing. We gotta be willing and ready and step and take the leap. We have to be willing to go to that next great level of existence. In Buddhism, there is this idea of Dharma. I'm going to read a little bit of this. In Hinduism, Dharma signifies behaviors that are considered to be in accord with Rita, the order that makes life and the universe possible. It includes duties, rights, laws, conduct, virtues, and right ways of living. So get that. Dharma is the behavior that is in accord with what makes life and the universe possible. When we are in alignment with what makes all of this possible, when we are in alignment with creation itself, when we are in alignment with that which God is, when we are in alignment with love, our behavior changes. That's Dharma. It also includes our duties, our responsibilities, the way we show up. How are we showing up? The right way, right not meaning right and wrong, but right meaning the highest and best way of showing up and walking the walk. Behavior. Remember, I think it was last week we talked about treat, pray, and what was it? Sit down? No. Treat and move your shoes. No. Treat and, oh, that's right, move your feet. Tracy's back there signing to me. That's right. Treat and move your feet. Know and then act. Know what is in alignment. Know the laws, the conduct, the responsibility, the duty, and what it means to be in alignment, and then shift our behavior to be. Knowing you're a genius isn't enough. Knowing and having this idea of, I am a master musician, I am a master storyteller, I am an artist who is great in skill and ability. And if we never change our behavior to demonstrate it, then why have that gift? Why be an artist at all if never to make art? Why be a practitioner if never to practice what it means to know truth, speak truth, pray truth? Why be a minister if not to minister to and assist people in recognizing and knowing their divine magnificence now? Why even be a teacher if not to teach? Why be a parent if I'm not going to raise my children to be the best humans they can? Why be any of this then if we're not going to shift the behavior to actually step into it? Yeah, exactly. It's time to align. How many times do we say? Align our thoughts, align them with how we communicate, not just how we speak, but how we sign, how we type, how we write, how we text. All forms of communication. Thought, word, emotion, and action. Thought, word, feeling, and deed. As a man, as a person, as a woman, as a child, as a leader, as a minister, as a thinks in their heart, so shall they be. As we think in our heart, meaning when the heart chakra, when the energy of love, when the energy of feeling is in alignment with it, thought, word, feeling, and action, then the behavior changes. Dharma is also any act done in consonance with our highest nature. In our highest nature. For example, you go and feed the hungry. You take care of people. You nurture people. You support people. If you do the same act for praise, it is called adharma. So you know how we talk about there's life affirming on one end of the scale and there is less life affirming on the other. At one end there is that which is dharma, to be in right contact, right conduct, right action, in alignment with. And then the other end of the scale is to be out of alignment with. Focusing on coming from a consciousness of God, focusing on a consciousness of human, of society only, of self, lowercase s self, versus capital S self. Dharma, adharma. I love the idea, for those who can see the graphic, of this young man who has taken it upon himself at such a young age to take care of homeless people, to make sure they get something to drink and something to eat. Even at his age, he recognizes that there is something that is his to do. Part of his expression, part of his genius, God expressing now, is to care for other humans. But Jesus, you said we didn't feed you when you were hungry. You said we didn't put clothes on you when you was naked. We didn't take care of you. When did we do this? To which Jesus responded, well, when you didn't feed that person, when you didn't clothe that person, when you didn't help and nurture and nourish and support that person, when you did it or didn't do it for them, you didn't do it for me either. United we stand, one body, one power, one presence. When are we going to take it upon ourselves individually to say, either I don't know what is mine to do, but let me find out. Or I have a sense of what is mine to do, and I'm afraid. Like literally, I'm terrified, which is what's holding me back. And then step forward and do the work from being terrified. Tracy doesn't like sleeping in her room in the middle of the night by herself when she hears the creaks and the groans and the moans of the house. First thing Tracy does is, oh, the house is possessed, the house is haunted. She screams out my name. Doc! Ray! The house is haunted! I'm in the basement, so I don't hear nothing. I'm knocked out. Tracy's scared to get off the bed because, God forbid, she put her feet on the floor and something come from under the bed and be like, snatch, gotcha. That was tasty. Like Tracy's like, I'm afraid. But then something kicks in and she says, but I must go forth. I must find out what this noise is and quell it. So she puts one foot in front of the other, and she walks down the hall with her flashlight on the phone like, if something jumps out at me, he in the basement, it gonna get him. It ain't gonna get me, because I got my keys in the other hand. I'm getting in the car and I'm leaving. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll see Ray again. Tracy would leave me. But the thing is, my point is, at some point, no matter how afraid she is, she gets out of the bed and goes and investigates to find out what this noise is. Like, was a window open? Did something fall? What's going on? Facing the fear and doing what needs to be done anyway. That's part of Dharma. It comes with territory. So, knowing your genius or knowing your genius. Huh? Say that again. Knowing your, Y-O-U-R, knowing your genius, or knowing your, Y-O-U'-R-E, genius. Which one is which? Hello, I am a genius, or hello, I am genius. Feel that for a second. I am a genius, or I am genius. Feel the vibration of the difference between the two. I am a genius versus I am genius. I am an individualized expression of all that love, light, joy, and darkness, intuition, yin and yang. I am all that it is, individualizing, incarnating, showing up right here. So am I a God or am I God, individualizing and expressing? Breathe. And let's step into what it means to simply be genius in expression. What it simply means to be the very power and the presence of creativity itself. The very essence of all that is called creation, creativity, that power and presence right now, thinking whatever thoughts you're thinking. Right now, speaking whatever communication, whether it's typed, text, spoken, sign, it is communicating those words. The very genius, the very creation, creativity of all of everything is feeling what you feel and behaving as you behave. Are we using our genius to deny life? Are we using our genius, our infinite creative power, to criticize, complain, and condemn ourselves? Are we using our genius to remind ourselves of how incompetent we are? Are we using the very power of the one mind, God, to deny ourselves? I don't know about you, but I know for me, it's time to change that. It's time to find out wherever, whatever nooks and crannies, whatever, wherever, however, that next leap is being called forth, and take it. No matter how terrifying it may be, that when the plane doors open and the parachute thing behind me says, we're going to jump on 3, and I feel my toes come out of my shoes and grab onto the thing, like I feel my toes grow an extra 4 inches with like dragon claws, like anyhow. I feel them come out and grab into the metal of the plane, because I ain't jumping out of this thing. I can feel it. And yet he says, 1, 2, and we're out. Oh my, hey, whoa. Yes, I would be afraid. And yet, I'm free. So, what in my life is calling me today to take that same quantum leap in my mind, in my heart, in my life, in my expression? What is asking me to step forward into a completely different way? What is asking me to leave the desert and step into whatever my ministry is on a deeper, greater level? Ernest Holmes says, Gay Hendricks says in The Big Leap, the goal in life is not to attain some imaginary ideal. It is to find and fully use our own gifts. Every single one of us has something. We have to. If we're acknowledging that God is all there is, then there's no way that God is not, quote unquote, gifted. The universe itself, gifted. Whatever that means to us. We're not anthropomorphizing God. I'm saying creation, creativity itself as the essence and power of must have a gift. You see, you build a piano, but say you don't play it. But the piano is sitting there with the ability to gift the world with infinite renditions of music. It's already there. But until we access it and sit down and actually play it, the very gift that it has to give never gets given. Same with us. Infinite gifts and possible things to offer the world, to offer the family, to offer the friends, to offer the community, to offer the very world itself. And yet, if we don't step out of comfort zone, the song of creation never gets sung through us. Rumi says, remember we talked about Rumi last week, and I mentioned this last week, your task is not to merely seek for love, but to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Well, let's say this works the same way. Your task is not to seek for your genius, but to merely seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built to block the genius, to block the gift, to block joy, to block prosperity. Find that place within your mind, your heart, your consciousness, where you're like, that's too much money. I'm not really worthy of that. I don't think I deserve that. But I'm not pretty enough. But I'm not this enough. Find all the barriers that we are using so diligently and without effort, which is just there, to block ourselves from the very gifts that we are. So there's a thing called zones of expression. To fully express our own gifts and talents, we must be willing to move out of our comfort zone. And there are generally 4 zones in which we may express ourselves. So we got to get out of the comfort zone, which means going into the fear zone, which means we then step into the learning zone, which then we grow. We're in the growth zone. But these zones of competence are such. You have the zone of incompetence. There are activities you're not good at. Zone of competence. Activities you're good at, but others can do them pretty much just as well as you. Zone of excellence. Activities that you do extremely well and could make a good living at. This zone is seductive to remain in because it can be a comfort zone. And then the zone of genius. Set of activities you are uniquely suited to do. This zone liberates and expresses your divine genius. Now get this, because this is a very challenging thing, is it's easy for us to say, well, there's nothing that I can do that no one else can. Like, I can write a book, but other people can write a book too. But there's a specific book that is yours to write as your zone of genius. No one else can write that book. No one else can sing that song. No one else can play that music. No one else can write that poem. No one else can do that treatment. So stop struggling with things when we compare ourselves and we want to be incompetent or barely competent or whatever. Stop challenging ourselves with comparing ourselves with the Joneses, comparing ourselves with someone else where the grass is greener on their side of the fence. Focus on our grass, our song, our canvas, our poem, our breath. Because when we do that, we step further and deeper into this zone of genius. Unconsciously incompetent. I don't know what I don't know. Consciously incompetent. I know what I don't know, and I'm going to do something about it. Consciously competent. I grow and I know, and it starts to show. Unconsciously competent. I simply go because of what I know. There we go again. This whole idea about getting into the action. I simply go about my regular, everyday living because of what I know. When I know the truth, I must act accordingly. And when I am in alignment, it simply happens. I no longer have to struggle and fight to find it. Love just happens. Creativity just happens. Music just happens. When I'm now operating from that place of alignment. Unconsciously incompetent. There's an aha of awareness. You move up to conscious incompetence. But then there's the ouch, the learning and change that comes into stepping up to being consciously competent. And then the mastery, where it becomes a second nature, now we are once again unconsciously competent. It's so ingrained into our unconscious that it simply is who we are. And that's when we move through comfort, fear, learning, growth to the action zone. We now put this stuff into practice. It becomes our everyday behavior. There's a Persian proverb that says, "He who knows not and knows not that he knows not, he is a fool. Shun him." Now I know some of these words are harsh, but let's just understand the energy beneath what it means. He who does not know and doesn't know that he doesn't know, we shouldn't be trying to follow that person. He who knows not and knows that he knows not, they are a child. We teach them. He who knows and knows not that he knows is asleep. We awaken him. But he who knows and knows that he knows, that individual is wise, and we follow them. Where in there are we? As a parent, as a brother, as a sister, as a minister, as a practitioner, as an artist, where in there are we? And how do we evolve and upgrade? This thing called you, Ernest Holmes, he says, you exist. That divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. You exist. That divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. That's why you exist. So that the very divineness, the divinity of, can exist and be expressed through you. The Spirit comes to you with a new and fresh creativity. Now let's keep in mind that this isn't something that, like, outside. It comes same way inspiration comes, the same way love comes from the very as within. Not what's out there coming in. We are evoking, bringing it from within outside. Robert didn't, go, okay, I'm getting ready to play a song for y'all right now, a piece of music. Hold on, let me pull it into myself. And then start playing. The music was already within him, and he expressed it. The prayer, the meditation Sue gave was already within her, and she expressed it. All that this is, and when we say the Spirit comes to you from within with a new and fresh creativity, you need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. You hear that? You need not ask what others have done or how they did it. Be yourself and express life as you find it. Don't worry how someone else started their website. Don't worry about how someone else wrote their book. You can get to the nuts and bolts of skill of how to, but let's break free from, I can't do it if I don't know how they did it. Never imitate. Trust the self. Find the self in God and God in the self. Find and align with that part of us that we know, the capital S self, is the truth of who and what we are. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, The insistent and universal desire for self-expression is the divine urge within us. Even God itself, tapping the very walls of our heart, urging us to a fuller, more meaningful life. Breathe. Especially because I'm getting ready to go into a little bit of nerddom. As those of you who already know me, you know I love the movie The Matrix, all three of them. Looking forward to number 4 that's coming out soon, but there's a scene in The Matrix where Neo is with the Oracle in her kitchen, and above the doorway is Temet Nosuke. You got the gift. This is what the Oracle says to Neo. You got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something. You've got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something. You just have to make up your own damn mind. Stop focusing on others. Make up your mind. There is one mind. That mind is God. That mind is infinite and creative and all-knowing power, beauty, joy, love. It is open at the top and the bottom. It is all that is. And when you make up your mind and align with the one mind, then all things are possible. That wasn't the Oracle, that was me. And then the Oracle goes on to say, do you know what that Temet Nosuke means? It means know thyself. I want to tell you a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one needs to tell you. No one needs to tell you that you're in love. You just know it through and through. No one needs to tell you that you are God. When we get into that place of alignment, you just know it. No one needs to tell you that you are creative. When you're in alignment, you just know. No one needs to tell you that you are powerful and beautiful. When we're in alignment, you just know. But we have to do the practice. We have to be willing to do the practice to get to the knowing. And part of that includes recognizing that it's not as difficult as we think it is. Just breathe. Breathe. Recognize that there is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And when we get to this place of the subconscious, remember this whole idea of being unconsciously competent? It is so deeply enmeshed in and grounded in the very foundation of our subconscious mind that we just go. But what do we have to do? We have to assess our beliefs, our creativity. Like we have to really get into the knowing of, what does this mean? Connect with my intuition. What do we start with? Not just listen to your heart, not just listen to your intuition, but follow it, act on it. The more we think a thought, the more it creates grooves. Just like, for those of you who may be old enough to recognize and remember, there was a thing called an LP. It was basically a little plastic disc that someone would put on a machine and play something or speak, and there was a needle that created grooves in it, that once it was done, and I put it on a phonograph machine, that it would now replay, replicate what was, So if our minds are, quote unquote, like a CD, a DVD, a VHS tape, that it receives, wait a minute, we believe in the, wait a minute, whoa, the direct impress of thought and acts of, we understand in this thing called CSL, because we say, whoa, we believe in this one mind, and that it receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon them. Just like a record. It receives the direct impress of our words, of our music, and acts upon them. But are we aware of what song we're putting onto the record? Am I putting on, oh, y'all gonna love this song. This is one of my favorite jumps right here. Boom. I'm so miserable and lonely, and I hate my life. I'm so miserable and lonely, I wish I had a wife. I'm so miserable and lonely, so miserable and lonely, miserable and lonely, that's me. Stop laughing at me, Tracy. Like, is that really? Oh, but there's the other. Doom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression. No love at all. Is that what we're playing? Is that what we are marinating our subconscious mind with? Thoughts, feelings, beliefs, paradigms related to the very thing that we do not, the barriers, that Rumi talked about, the barriers to love and joy and magnificence and genius. Because if we want to step into it, we have to do the work. And trust and believe, right now, I may be saying this, and some of you watching may be like, I don't even know where to start. Well, then text me, email me, call me, send me a carrier pigeon. Fine, I will give you some guidelines. You ain't got to follow them, but I can at least point you in the right direction, point you in a direction that will help you shift. But you have to be the one to make the first step. Like the jumping out of the plane. No one's going to come to the house, knock on the door, I open the door, they snatch me, throw a parachute on me, and jump me up into a plane. I have to be the one to say, hello, is this 1-800-JUMP from a plane? Yes, this is Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. My sister and I would like to go skydiving. She says no, but she wants to. You may have to take her by force, but she wants to go. She likes doing everything that I do. Like, I have to be the one to make the call. And then Tracy and I get into the car, kicking and screaming, but we get into the car. And then we go. And then we put it on. And then the sweat starts. And then we see the plane and the propeller. And then the sweat comes and the heart goes. But we keep on walking. And we get on the plane. And the plane takes off. And this was your idea. But we stay on the plane. We go up and then eventually we jump. If we want to make these changes, we have to be willing to jump. Today's homework for those who are so willing. What am I good at? What are my gifts? Ask yourself, journal, what am I good at? And what are my gifts? Based upon your assessment. I don't care that Miss Brooks told you you were good at art when you were in 5th grade. I want to know what you say that your gifts are today. How do I use my gifts? Right now, if I'm gifted at music, how am I using it? I'm gifted at art, how am I using it? I'm gifted at sign language, how am I using it? And how could I use them more? How can I use them more? In what ways can I be expressing my gifts more frequently, more consciously, more consistently? What spiritual practices do I use that nurture, strengthen, and develop my unconscious competence? What spiritual practices, not what spiritual theories. I have a spiritual theorem about the idea of being consciously unconscious. I have a theorem about this whole idea of Temet Niske. Whatever he said, I don't know. But I have a theory about it. It's time to make the theory a practice, though, for real. What spiritual practices do I use that nurture, strengthen, and develop my unconscious competence? That basically, what spiritual practices call forth my genius on a more consistent and frequent basis? And then, what 3 things will I do this week to move into the action zone? What 3 things will I do this week? Remember, we went from comfort to fear, to learning, to growth, to action. What 3 things will I do this week to move further into the zone of action, the zone of Dharma, the zone of my behavior has now shifted and changed, that I am walking the walk more diligently, more consistently, more consciously. Today's affirmation, I will say it first, and then when you feel ready and called to so do so, say it with me. Today I answer the call to discover, to liberate, and to express my divine genius in every way it shows up. Together. Today I answer the call to discover, to liberate, and to express my divine genius in every way that it shows up. And we breathe. We breathe in preparation. Well, first we breathe to let that all anchor in, but we now breathe to prepare for the amazing genius that is Robert Hicks as he prepares to bless us with another of his gifts, that being the gift of amazing, energy-shifting, heart-loving, mind-enveloping music. And so in this moment we breathe and we welcome Robert Hicks.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me now calling from Zoom?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Great. Thank you, Raymont. That was so inspiring, and I really appreciate so much of your affirmation of me as well. I am honored to be doing this kind of work, and it is mine to do. And I am blessed to do it for all of us and with all of us. So I'm going to take this and to channel for everyone to do what is theirs to do. I have much more of mine to do, and so I will begin to do it. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So those of you who have been to CSO Greater Baltimore at times that both Robert and I both were there, then you may have already heard me say this, and I'm sure he's heard me say it a couple times, that like, because I grew up in the era that I did, you know, with Star Wars and Superman with Christopher Reeve, and, you know, just the era of Fantasia with Disney, and like, just, oh man, every time I listen to Robert play, like it does something energetically to me. Like I'm on the border, the brink of tears of joy and great exuberance, and this thing where it's like I want a cape because I feel like I can actually fly. Like there's this just amazing feeling. Like I'm almost tempted to say, Robert, I want you to compose a theme song for us. Ah! But anyhow, so okay, I'm good. So put your hands together right now for the amazing gifts, the amazing talent, the amazing genius of Robert Hicks. So type into the chat box, those of you who are on Facebook, because we can't hear you, so type into the chat box, yes, Robert! Amazing, thank you, sir. Thank you ever so much. So, Facebook, this is the first time you've had almost the entire service on Facebook. Let me know if you want us to continue with almost the entire service, or the entire service via Facebook. But this time, it is time to go into discussing conscious giving! Woo! Also known as tithing. Giving where we are inspired, giving where we are spiritually nourished and fed, giving where we are investing in the spiritual progression, the spiritual stewardship of wherever it is we are tithing. So at this moment we are saying that if you felt inspired by anything today, whether it was Robert's music, whether it was my talk, whether it was Sue's in-service prayer meditation or pre-service meditation, if you were inspired by Tracy and her silliness, if you were inspired by and nourished by or fed by any of that, then we are asking any one of these, any way of these means or methods of tithing and donating you may employ. PayPal, text to give, which the number is 410-873-1928 to text to give. You can also send it via postal mail, so you can email Sue or contact any one of us at CSL Greater Baltimore. We'll make sure you get the correct address. So that's methods 1, 2, and 3 for conscious giving and tithing. But I hear you saying once again, Reverend Ray, why should I give? Why should I tithe? Why should I donate? Well, in order to know that, we have to go back to something that Sue said earlier, referencing this idea of reaping the harvest. So if we are in this thing called spiritual practice, spiritual center, beloved community, then we understand that the work we are doing to assist humanity in knowing and recognizing its divine magnificence from birth to whatever age is up at the other end, 4,692, and everything in between, we are providing spiritual tools, methods, spiritual technologies, spiritual practices. We are providing community. And so in order to do that, the business side of CSL Greater Baltimore uses the finances to support the spiritual work that we are doing. And that's why we give. We give so that a new building that welcomes and brings in the community. We tithe and donate so that from this base of a spiritual home, we are now creating satellites in other communities so that people who may not be able to physically come to the new center can still receive the teaching. We tithe so that we can have upgraded technology so that this message more platforms. And what we know is, as you sow, so shall you reap. So as this beloved community prospers, clearly that means we as a planet, you as part of this community, we all prosper together. Together, let's declare our prosperity declaration. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing
not only
in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talents, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so it is. How great it is to know that we are on the building team. We are on the team of blueprint. We are on the team of architectural rendering. We are on the team of actually going out into the world, sleeves rolled up, consciousness open, hearts unfolded, ready to teach and shift consciousness the world over. Recognizing right here and right now that we are, as a species, as a planet, cooperating together, collaborating together, and communicating together, that we recognize and understand there are no borders, no walls, no territories, no boundaries outside of us or within us to keep people at bay, but we are opening and availing ourselves to every human being, seeing and recognizing them as that which God is, seeing and recognizing them as the genius that they are, seeing and recognizing the very divinity of all that they are. And for those who do not know, do not understand, and cannot see anything beyond xenophobia, homophobia, racism, we know for them their divine magnificence, knowing that what we place into consciousness, there is only one mind, that mind is God. So what this mind knows about that expression must be contagious. It must elevate, it must shift. What this mind knows, what this life chooses, is known for all of life. There is one life, and that life is God. And so right here, right now, this individualized incarnation of life itself knows that all life, right here and right now, is a life of love, a life of being open at the top and at the bottom, a life of yin and yang balance, a life of knowing that genius is in expression. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it's that time of service that we say, actually, no, I'm not going there yet. Did I miss a slide? Did I miss a slide, Tracy?
No.
Yes, I did. So it is that time of service.
Did you say thank you?
No, I didn't say this
You
yet,
had
Tracy.
it on there.
I had it on there, but I didn't say it. I segued into prayer.
You're supposed to be paying attention.
I'm supposed to be paying attention, but I don't want to pay that. So I'm not going to pay attention. I'll pay silliness today. So today, the thing is, make today an awesome day, no matter what's going on. I know and I understand that there is a lot of stuff going on in the world with COVID. I got that. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with racism and homophobia. Like, there's a lot going on. I know that. And what we are asked to do is step into a place of, as I am able to step into what it means to make my day great, as I walk the walk, then I give others permission to do the same. So choose today. Make today an awesome and amazing day.
Woo!
So that every person who crosses your path, everyone you see and everyone who sees you, sees the very face of God. Everyone that you touch from a distance.
From a distance.
So everyone that you hug virtually, everyone that you give a virtual fist bump or a long distance fist bump to, like the very energy of creation itself travels through, because we know there's no space. Because my hands are touching molecules and atoms. So right now, my hand is touching Tracy's, even though they're not physically right here touching, they are touching the energy between. So reach out and touch somebody's heart.
And
Make this world a beautiful place. When you start, Tracy tried to follow my word. She don't know what I'm going to
You
say.
always make up stuff.
And then know that everything that you communicate, everything that comes out of your mouth, everything that comes through your hands, everything that you type, you are communicating the very message of love, of possibility itself. So make today an awesome day. If Zoom is still working at this present moment, know that after service, those who want prayer, stay on the line. Those who are on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to email, make a prayer request. And it doesn't have to be prayer requests for when things aren't going very well. Praying to know the good and ever good is also prayer. It is also knowing your higher and highest and best and better best. So feel free to let's anchor into the good as well. Also, for those who are here from CSL Greater Baltimore, know that after prayer, we're also going to start our board meeting, and it's open to the community, so feel free to stay on Zoom to join in our board meeting as well. So at this time, simply anchoring in, knowing that just because this Sunday service ends, we know that that which life is continues, that which love is continues, that which is the infinite power and presence of genius itself continues. Without beginning and without end, it continues. And so we anchor in this, knowing what is mine to do. We anchor into this, knowing, know myself. We anchor into this, knowing that as I sow, so shall I reap. We anchor into this, knowing that the very power and the presence of all that is right here, showing itself in, through, and as every single one of us, wherever and however and whenever we are watching this recording, this video feed, knowing that love itself, life itself, the very power and presence, the magnificence of genius itself is breathing this breath, is speaking these words, is sitting and watching, is now rising to do what is its to do as us. Anchoring in this awareness and surrendered into the law that is infinitely good and oh so good and knows that it knows that it knows. And now knowing that it is done, knowing that it is anchored, knowing that it is surrendered, I simply stand here in declaration and say, and together we declare this truth by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
And so it is. Blessings, everyone. Have an amazing day, and we will see you same bat channel, same bat time next week. Much love. Be well. Be blessed.